What is up, everybody? This is Recap or Rewind. I'm J-Lag.
And I'm NB.
And we are recapping and reviewing Riverdale Season 5, Episode 9, and it's called Chapter 85, Destroyer.
And don't forget, guys, stick around for the ending of the podcast because we're going to go through our recap roundups, our best moments, our best lines, some of your best moments. Yeah.
Doing it all. And as always, for our continuing listeners and our brand new ones, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get into this episode, girlfriend.
I mean, what do you like?
Where do we start? Where do we begin?
I feel like I think I said it perfectly when we were talking about this offline. I was like, I feel like we're everywhere and yet we're nowhere.
All at the
in
same
this
time.
Show. I feel like we have so much going on, but I feel like at the core, like.
There's nothing.
Not much. And I'm not excited. You know, like even last night, like I wasn't excited to watch because I'm like, BARCHIE's done. Like VARCHIE's already back together. Like even if VARCHIE wasn't together, but like still like hopeful of VARCHIE or like seeing a scene together. But we already got that last week. So like I'm like, I already have that too. Like I have everything basically. So
I just feel like at this point in time, like there's, like you said, it's exactly what you said. Everything's happening, but at the same time, like, where are we going with everything? But at the same time, it's almost so very, like, it feels very predictable. I feel like I know what's going to happen next.
100%.
For the most part, like, all these crazy storylines, sure. Don't know anything about them. Do I care about them? No. But, like, when it comes to, like, the relationships, where things are going with the characters themselves, like, I know, like, I see, you guys aren't lying to anybody. Like, I know exactly what's happening.
I think you said exactly what, a lot of our fans tweeted. They were like, okay, seen this. I've already seen this. I know what's going to happen. Like so many people are saying the same thing where I'm like, okay, clearly like everyone is feeling the same way about this. So let's start. I don't know.
Let's just do it.
Let's just do it.
So yeah, just to start off the episode, it's the name is called Destroyer, which when I Googled it, the only thing that came up was a 2019 film, which stars Nicole Kidman. And the synopsis is when Erin Bell, who's played by Nicole Kidman, was a young cop, she was given an undercover assignment that ended badly and destroyed her life. Years later, she must face her demons in order to make peace with her past. So I feel like
so
it
that's
wraps
obviously
in
Betty.
Yeah, exactly. So
okay,
let's go. I'm like, Nicole Kidman,
but like 10,000 other things happen in the episode too. Like
other things happen, including a football game. Anyway, let's just go.
First of all, I will just preface this before and say that RIS had the audacity to be like, if you love Friday Night Lights, or like, get ready because it's Friday Night Lights night on Riverdale. And I was like, no. Do not do that. Do not take one of the best shows ever written in TV history and compare your lame ass excuse for a football episode. No. You cannot do that.
How dare
Please,
you?
just sit down. Just sit down. Call your episode what it is. Do not compare yourself to Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get into this. So it starts off with the Jughead opening, obviously, and he's listening to radio signals. So he's kind of like sitting there listening to like, I don't know, alien radio waves, like whatever. So he's doing his own thing. Then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and Betty is checking in on her mom. And she was like, yeah, Mom, we got to go to the game, like the football game.
I was like, does your mom really want to go to a football game right now? Like, she is literally looking for her possibly dead child. The hell is she going to go to a football game right now?
Exactly. I was like, that is not the right segue, girl. And she's like basically staring into the wall. Like she's just like comatose, like but alive. She's looking very, very depressed. And Betty says, you should go to your support group and like, you know, Alice obviously is like, she's like, I'm good. She pours,
this is my support group.
Like, pours a glass of wine. This is my support group, girl. Yeah, exactly.
We all in that club.
Yeah. Cheers, girl. Then it cuts to after the football game, and we didn't even get to see them.
We didn't see that. We don't even see the game. I'm like, what? So it was even that important? Like,
I didn't even know what was happening. I was like, oh, are we just like they're about to start the game?
Wait, did we see it?
No, we don't see it. It's literally like everybody leaving the stadium, like or
and
like
they
the
lost.
field.
Like they lost like 40-0.
It was like nothing. So they lost the game, and Cheryl's talking to some like next girl who's like, we should have been at like regionals already. Like we should have already.
I could have been practicing for
practicing
regionals.
for regionals. And Cheryl's like, same girl, same.
She's like, you know what, Cassandra? You're right, Cassandra. And I was like, who is Cassandra? Like, why does she have a full name?
Yeah. And then Veronica walks into the locker room while Archie's kind of talking to the Bulldogs, and she's like, here's an incentive. I'm going to offer the person that scores the first point $10,000.
Like, what? They don't even know how much that is.
$10,000? Or is it 10,000 river dollars?
In her currency.
Yeah.
They should have been like, Miss Veronica, is that in your fake ass currency money or is that real money?
Is that real money? Yeah, exactly. But then I wrote down, I'm like, oh, so she does got the money. Like, she's got the money to like help Riverdale. Like, I don't get it.
This is kind of my issue with all of this, and especially in this episode it comes to a head where I'm like, okay, she has unlimited amounts of money, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Not unlimited, but like she has a shit ton of money.
She's about to drop $10,000.
So why can't she just fix the town?
Yeah,
like she could just fix the town then. What are we even waiting for at this point? Like, go buy a fire truck, she already did that. Go buy a stadium football team, she already did that. Go buy a jewelry store, she already did that.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna go buy a stock market next? Like, what are you gonna do next? Like you can buy everything.
$10,000 for one score, like goal, like that's
like it was. I was like, oh yeah, I can't.
So anyway, so then it shows Archie going over to some student that we've never met before named Derek, and he's like, "How you doing, bro?" And Derek's like, "Oh man, we lost again for the millionth time." And Archie's just like, "It's okay, you did good out there, whatever." Then it cuts to everybody leaving. Veronica and Archie are talking in the locker rooms, and he basically says like no one even comes to these games to begin with. He's like, so we don't even have anybody cheering them on. So like they're just losing, and then on top of that, there's no one there to like cheer them on. Like there's no one here.
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, don't worry, I'll get the fans. And then
I can do that. I can do this. I can do that. I can do that. She does everything for him. What does he do?
I can fix all of your problems.
What does Archie do though?
He does nothing. So Archie basically is like, but then what about me? I need a little live. And then they kiss. And guys, listen, we got a lot of like commentary back and forth over the week about how we're like VARCHIE. Suddenly we're VARCHIE haters. Like everybody's going off about the fact that like just because you're a BARCHIE shipper doesn't mean like it doesn't mean that we're VARCHIE haters.
Yeah.
We just did not, and this is like underscoring this entire conversation. We just did not like the way that they got back together. Yeah. So while I'm going to say what I'm going to say, it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't like them together. It's just that it didn't work for me in terms of timing. Yeah. So anyway, I want to like this. I wanted to like this moment because like they're sitting there and they're being cute and sweet with each other, and then they kiss, and I just wanted to be like, bleh. Like
you got me. Like, I didn't want to say it, but like I literally cringed. I don't know. And you know, in the beginning I said it's fine. Like VARCHIE, it's okay. Like we get that VARCHIE's gonna happen. Yeah. And I was all down for that. And I would have been down for like this kind of like cat and mouse game, a little bit of hard to get, a little 100%. Bit of like I can't just yet, I'm not ready. I would have loved that, even if it was VARCHIE. Yeah. Like it pulls me in every week. But we already had that now. He already got her, she already got him.
It's already done.
And then watching this scene, he's like, don't I get some attention? I was like, this doesn't even feel like Archie. It doesn't even feel like Archie. And then B, it's like boring. I don't know.
It's boring because it's also like, and everybody kind of said it last night too. It's like we're repeating exactly what happened 7 years ago before the time jump, and it's just. These are adult people. We have to see them as adults. Like they literally push them to 7 years later to show them as adult people, and to see them together on screen again as like a couple. It just brings you back to high school, and they're sitting in a locker room, which they basically had sex all the time in a locker room. So I'm like, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Even like changing their dialogue, like, okay, fine. They're back together. It's VARCHIE, whatever. Right. Yeah. Change the way they talk. She's like, chin up, Andrews. She talks like she's still in high school. Like,
I mean, at least she didn't call him Archiekins. Like, for
I was like, I was gonna cringe even if she called like, but at least like, or maybe he's more dominant. Maybe he's like, come here, like, because like now he's an adult. He's more like, I can take it. Like, obviously, like consensual, but like, you know what I mean? Like, at least change the tone of like who they are now 7 years later. No, they still sound like they're from the high school times.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer, and I know that it was like such a thing for the VARCHIE fans to be like, yes, they're back on screen, they're kissing, but like, and I want to like it, guys. I really do.
Me too.
I
loved VARCHIE in the beginning. I love them together,
but it's just doesn't feel like it's working for me.
Yeah. It's boring.
It really has nothing to do with the fact that I like and wanted Barchie to work. Like Betty's out of this question right now. It's literally just trying to see them together and being like, does this make sense? Do I feel excited about seeing them together?
100% agreed.
I just don't feel it. And comment below if you guys disagree with us and like try to make us understand, because I'm trying, we're trying, but it's just not working for me right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then it cuts to Jughead talking to his agent, and his agent basically says like, what's going on with this book? And Jughead says like, I'm going to talk about aliens, but like it's going to also be about like trauma of the whole entire town. So it's like trauma plus aliens.
Okay.
And the agent's like,
go for it.
Cool. Like, have fun with that. It was such a random scene because it never comes back around. Like, why did we even have to have the agent come through in this episode? Like, such random scenes. Anyway, so he's working on this book. Got it. Cool. Then it cuts to Pop's diner, and Veronica pops in to talk to Tabitha about hosting a pancake breakfast to kind of help like bring some, some
spirits
back to the Bulldogs. You know, like this is like sponsored by Pop's, and she even asks if Pop's diner wants to be an official sponsor of the Bulldogs. I'm yawning too. It's okay. I get
it. No, like. That part was actually cute. Like that scene was actually, I was like, okay, I get the link. And like, there is something very interesting about Tabitha on my screen. Like I am intrigued by her character, whether or not they're going to take her anywhere like cool. We don't know that, but I was like, okay, cool. Like they're getting her involved in like something other than just Jughead storyline, you know? For sure.
And it's something that maybe we'll touch upon it next week, because I saw like a thumbnail of them. I haven't watched the trailer,
you did.
But I know there's some sort of something happening with them. But I don't want her to become that character that just becomes like this side chick.
But you know she will. You know she will be.
But she needs more. You guys already fucked up Josie.
Look at Kevin Keller. Like, Mads waited 5 years to get a main storyline, and he was like paid as a B thing character, and he still didn't get B list like storylines.
I know.
They do everyone dirty. Like
I just hope that they do something a little bit better with her. But yeah, I guess we'll see. So anyway, she goes on to be like, oh, so with the pancakes, like, do you want like just regular syrup? And then Veronica's like, no, I have an idea for the syrup. And
do you want Uncle Pop's?
Like, we already know what's going to happen, like, at this point.
Maple syrup. But also, like, introing Cheryl in that part was very random, too. Because I was like, bro, this girl's dealing with, like, I don't even know what Cheryl's dealing with. Last thing we need is for her to supply maple syrup for this pancake party. Like, I can't.
It was just like, it was just a random segue to the next scene, which is them at the lounge. And they're all basically like, it's Veronica and Archie and Cheryl, and they ask if like, she can support the Bulldogs again. And she's like, absolutely not.
She's like, no.
Fuck you. Yeah. She was like, no, that's not happening.
You think she's gonna say like, obviously, yeah, like I'll support you. She's like, fuck no. She's like, you guys suck.
Yeah. She's like, on top of that, like we're probably gonna pull like the Vixens out. Like you don't even need to be at the game.
No connection.
She's like, I do not want to be associated. You guys are fucking losers. So anyway, Archie's like, fine, I'm gonna do it myself. So then he like runs up to the speaker, he like grabs it from like Miss whatever her name was, and then is like, yo guys, people are busting their asses. And I'm like, what high school teacher like fucking starts swearing on the speaker?
Yeah, he's like, you guys better get your damn spirits together or this is gonna be hell in this I'm like,
I was like,
dude, like chill.
Like, what a way to do it. And then it like even zooms into everybody in their rooms, like Betty in shop class.
They're like,
and she's like, what the fuck?
she's like, what?
She's like so confused. She's like, he's popping off. And then he announces the breakfast at Pop's so like people can come. And then after that, Cheryl decides after but
like Taken, even the pancake thing was her idea. It still wasn't even his idea.
Yeah, he's
like Archie's only idea in this entire episode was to take that thing from Miss Bell and speak on the speakerphone. That was it. That was his only idea for this whole
thing. Nailed it. Did it.
He's like, she Veronica, I can do shouting too.
And that's the thing, right? Like, I feel like they make him this character because Betty would never do any of these things.
No, she'd be like, Archie, what do you want to do? And he'd be like, I don't know, let me try it out.
Right?
And she's like, where do you want to go, Archie? Where do you?
Like,
and Veronica's like, here, take my money and I got you. Like, we're
exactly. Good. She takes good care of him. Like, don't get me wrong, but he's like, he becomes like a full-out waste man when he's with her. He just like rides on her coattails.
Now we know why he's always running back to her. Hashtag Varchie.
He's the real trophy husband
yeah.
of the series. So then from that whole shenanigans, Cheryl decides that she'll do one more game for the Bulldogs and then she's out. So then it cuts to Jughead getting the people to, and she also says something about like, I got something to show. Like I want to show them a show. And I was like, oh, get ready.
Okay, you're gonna dance, obviously.
Yeah, you're gonna dance. You're gonna do a cheer and you're gonna sing. Probably.
Also, it was kind of weird that we're like 10 minutes in and like not a single person has addressed that Tony's not in this episode, and nor will be for a while. Like someone could have said like Tony's away. No one said anything.
On mat leave now. Yeah. Like, nothing. Like nothing from Fangs, nothing from like Kevin, nothing.
Nothing from your future like baby daddy of your baby to be like, hey, she's away right now. She's not feeling good. Whatever.
Yeah, she like left. Like nothing. Or maybe they'll give her like one final like text or something. Like she'll be like, I left. Who knows?
I left.
Maybe she got abducted by the Moleman. Who even knows? Like the Mothman. So then it cuts to Jughead getting people to hand in assignments in English class, and some random kid in the back like hands in an assignment, and it looks like a Mothman on the assignment. It's like got the red eyes, and it's called like evil below, evil above or something. And he's like, oh shit, like this kid's got some trauma. I'm gonna explore this.
Yeah, like everyone else's thing was like PowerPoint, Microsoft Word. It was like title, name, and his was like a sketch.
Yeah.
I was like, this is an art class.
So he just like popped off on that fun drawing. So then it cuts to Betty calling Glenn, and he confirms that the blood is a match for Polly's blood. It's only 0.222%, so it's like definitely hers. And she loses it on Glenn. She's like, you fucking idiot, it's all your fault, like because you didn't help me in the first place, that's why my sister's dead, like it's all your fault, whatever. She clicks the phone off of him, and then she like pops off and leaves. Then it cuts to Jughead and Principal Weatherby talking, and he brings a story to Weatherby and basically says like, what's going on with this kid? He's like living with mole people, and then after that he gets abducted by the Mothman. Like what the hell is happening with this kid? And the kid's name's Luerman. And so Weatherby goes on to say things like, yeah, like everything's fine, like, you know, I checked in with the parents and stuff, but like he sometimes comes in with like broken bones and like black eyes. And like Jughead's like, are you fucking kidding me? Like that sounds like abuse, like something's happening at home. And Weatherby's like, no, like the parents are fine, like everything's good at home, so like don't worry about it, we'll figure it out. So sure enough, he's not going to. So then it cuts to Pop's diner, pancake party.
Hey.
But like not really, because it was like it just like felt like a day at Pops.
Like I had to message Jay, like I was like, did they even have the pancake party? Like I don't even remember it.
It was very like it just felt the same. Like
do you remember how like in season 2 or it must have been season 2 when Veronica and everyone they throw this big party at Pops to raise money, I think,
to, like,
for Pops, and there's like the
Pops.
Pussycat Dolls like performing on those freaking roof.
Yeah.
Like what a lit experience, and
That's
this was
lit.
like, that's it.
Pancake party, I guess.
Like,
but sure, okay, we'll take it. So then it cuts to the booth with Archie and Derek and Derek's mom, the football player. And he basically, like Archie says, like, he's such a good player, he's going to be the team captain. And his mom says, like, good for you guys, but like the Bulldogs suck. Like you guys don't do.
My son can't be on this team because my son needs to go to like a scholarship. I'm like, girl, your son has been on a shitty ass team for the last like 8 weeks. Did you not think about this earlier? Like you should have sent him the Stonewall prep from time.
Yeah, seriously, like should have fucking sent him off.
She's waiting till the pancake breakfast.
Yeah, pancake breakfast is not gonna save their fucking team. That's for sure. So in this moment, that's when Reggie comes in and Veronica kind of pulls Archie over. They sit down with him and essentially he says that he's a part of some like next like level league, and the league is saying that the Bulldogs suck so hard that they
can't be in the league. Yeah.
Because they're giving them a bad name.
He's like, we have so much prestige. He's like, we can't deal with you guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. So then
This
Archie
whole
obviously-
storyline too just felt very like, well, why are we going there? Like, why can't they just play a game? Why does it have to be like about
I
this whole prestige?
The stakes have to be a little bit higher because, like, beside like a murder and aliens being abducted, I feel like it's already the weakest one. So like, they got to give something to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, essentially Reggie's like, you guys suck, whatever, you guys got to pull out. And Archie's like, it's not always about winning. And Reggie's like, okay, loser. Like he
keep
just
telling
walks away.
yourself that.
Yeah.
But that was one of my favorite scenes because he was like, keep telling yourself that. He's like, loser. He like walks out of the bar, like died. I died. I was cracking up. I'm like, at least this guy's still here to make me laugh. I love him.
Yeah, exactly. He's like a bully, but like still fun.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Tom and Kevin talking, and he's moving out of this place. Like he's like literally just like officially like it's
leaving.
It's done.
Yeah.
His dad is helping him. And Tom's basically like, what's going on with you? Like you literally had like the best thing going for you. Basically what Fangs was saying. Like you're about to have a baby like 2 minutes ago and now you're leaving.
Also, like what's gonna happen with the baby though? Like there's a baby coming. Did you guys forget? Like
there's so many things that are like wrong with this situation, obviously, but that is like the least of my concerns when it comes to
I know, but like in the grand scheme of it all, I'm like, why is he just giving up? Like, does he not get that they agreed to have a baby together? Like, he can't just walk away.
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, there's like no conversation about what happens even when he talks to Fangs later. So anyway, Kevin goes as far as saying something like, maybe I'm the kind of guy that that doesn't even deserve a family. Mm-hmm. And he says, he's like you said, Dad. I was like, when did he say that to him? Like, Tom never even said that to him. So why would he even like mention that's kind of like what he's trying to say? And then when Tom tries to like press him and say like, okay, like let's talk about this. You're obviously like upset about it. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. And then he just like walks out of the room. So like everything that's happening, especially it happens later, he just is like avoiding the conversation. So we're obviously expecting like a big like reveal at the end. So then it cuts to Hiram and Veronica talk about daddy issues. And she's like, we're going to kick your stallion's butts. Like she's like so into like just defeating her father once again. Hiram versus Veronica storyline, like straight from the books of season like 2 essentially. And she goes on to say like, let's make a bet. If we score 1 goal on your against your team, then we get to stay in the league. And he's like, bet. Like I'm down for this bet. How do you feel about this whole situation?
I don't mind the Hiram and Veronica like bickering because like it's part of the comic book. It's who they are. Like it makes sense. It's fine. I just want to see Hiram like actually doing something. Like we only have seen him literally sit behind his desk, sip on his like rum or whatever, and like maybe go to the gym or like maybe meet up at the swamp. Like what's he doing to like ruin Riverdale? Like, you know what I mean? Like we're not really seeing him anywhere. He's kind of just stuck in the same location and like characters like come to him. So I don't know. Like a part of me feels like he's
from time to time. I guess like he stopped everybody at the swamp. Like he kind of like shows up randomly for certain things, but no, you're right.
But like what's he actively doing to ruin Riverdale? I don't know.
Yeah,
whatever.
I have no idea. I don't know what his fucking
again. Like this bet seemed ridiculous to me because I was like, why would he even care to do this bet with her? / like, why is she even doing this bet? Like you're gonna probably lose, and then you're gonna lose everything that Archie built. Like,
well, she built it like 2 seconds.
She built it too, but like she doesn't even tell Archie that she's doing that. Number one,
this is what the situation's gonna be. Yeah.
Can't.
So anyway, so then it cuts to Jughead talking to Luerman. So he's like, yo, kid, can you just say after class, like, what's going on with you? He asks him about his story. And Luerman's kind of just like dodging the whole conversation. He's like, I gotta go. And he just like leaves. Like he doesn't really give him any information that goes by it. But like Jughead asks the wrong questions. Like as a teacher, you don't go like, are you getting abused at home?
But that's the thing, right? Like he's not a teacher. He's like a writer / turn like temp teacher.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, yo, you would know. But that's the thing. We know that Jughead comes from like a troubled history. Like, I don't know how abusive FP was to him or whatever. So you would think that he would know how to approach someone who's going through potentially the same trauma in the same way. And instead he's like, yo, are you getting beat by your parents?
That's a good point.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Bro, like you're the perfect person to have this bridge conversation. He doesn't even do it properly. Anyway, the kid dips and he's like, I can't. And then it cuts to Betty and Cheryl talking at Thornhill. And this was a cute little moment. So this is like...
Loved this moment. Yeah.
So Betty kind of comes together.
Sorry, just quickly. Like even last week we were saying how we're like, why does she keep calling Betty cousin? They're not even cousins. They don't even hang out. They don't even like, like talk to each other and like ask each other, are they okay? And then we get this scene. So I was really happy with it.
I'm glad that they finally showed them together for sure. So, and now they have another shared
and having
trauma,
a real moment, like a full out real conversation. To like, she seeks her out for advice.
Exactly.
And we very rarely get that in a genuine way on this show, I feel like.
And especially from Betty. Betty doesn't reach out for help for anyone. Like she never asks for help. So no, it was cool to see her kind of go to Cheryl for this specifically. And the setup was kind of cool. It was like in front of a fireplace. It looked very beautiful and like dark and gothic. So essentially Betty comes to her and says like, like when, things are not looking really good for me and like with Polly right now. And she asks about Jason and she says like, when Jason died, like, was it helpful for you to find out the truth? Like when you found out like what had happened to him? And Cheryl says something really beautiful. She's like, when I learned the truth, I was able to grieve. It's almost better to know the truth and then make your peace with it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a beautiful like experience to kind of like her kind of do this like full thing. And that's when Betty kind of has a little bit of a breakdown. And then Cheryl's like, does that mean that Polly's like dead? And Betty's like, yeah, she's like fucking dead. Like she's dead. So at this point in time, do we believe that Betty is confirming her death? Or like there's no body. We haven't buried anybody yet. So,
I think
like,
Betty thinks she's dead. I don't think she's dead just because I feel like now they're like, her blood is even there. But it's like, okay, I feel like you guys are doing everything to make us think that she's dead. And then she's not going to be dead.
She's not going to be dead. But it was interesting on top of this. So they have a little hug moment. But it is interesting. Like I just thought about it as I was reading out the notes. Like Cheryl, who used to date Polly, lost Jason. Sorry, not Cheryl. Jason, who used to date Polly, was dead. And now Polly's missing and potentially dead. So like not only do they share like a sibling death, it's like their siblings were also like romantically involved.
There's something about Jason's death that is so like rooted in everything that happens in the series. Yeah. Because it was the first trigger point. It was the first thing we started off. I think it's the one murder and killing and like death of a character that felt honestly the most organic. Like it felt the most real, and the trickling effects that it had on all these characters felt the most real. But I think what happens and what goes wrong is that like they try to replicate that, right? Okay, second season, we need another murder. Okay, third season, we need another. Like, okay, like I get it. Like you want your show to center around a murder, but like that was the most realist one, and they keep bringing that back, and I love it because I think it is true. Like everyone suffered through that. Like Polly like lost her baby daddy. Like so it all makes sense to me, and I love that. I think it all makes sense
for sure.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the locker room, and it turns out that Derek left the team. So the one
like
with the
already
mama,
gone. Yeah.
He's like, I dipped. Like he literally relocated. He's now with his Stonewall Stallions. Like they're fucked. So Archie's like, fuck. Then it cuts to them in bed, VARCHIE in bed. And Veronica is like,
again, no scene. Like no scene. Even that I was like, oh no, it just cuts to them like already done. Like they're already just like chilling there. I'm like,
I feel like that boring. Is literally what like what we've seen. We've seen this already. Like we've already seen them in bed. They've already had the pillow talk. They always have the pillow talk. Like it's just the
there
same.
Was nothing exciting. Like
nothing exciting. Nothing.
If
new.
You're gonna sit there as a VARCHIE fan and tell me that all of this was exciting this week, you're lying.
You're lying.
You're straight up lying.
Give them something new to do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Like maybe don't give them a sex moment.
Like
don't maybe
or like go on the soccer field and like have sex there. Like do something different. Like even that.
Go for a walk maybe. Like maybe you guys go for a walk. Like do something else.
Do something.
Go for a jog.
But the same frame, the same like position in the bed. Like he's shirtless. Like just really
it legitimately could have been shot like last season.
Yeah.
Like at this point. Like it was the same fucking thing. So again, once again, like we've been saying, Veronica is here to save the day. She's like, "Don't worry, Archie. I got an idea to recruit some new bulldogs." Because he's like,
"Oh my god, now we have another problem. Now we need players." She's like, "Okay, let me save you one more time."
I was like, "Cool." So you're basically here to basically save his entire life, which doesn't show growth.
Like, why doesn't he say, Veronica, do you know anyone that could like come and help us? Like, I was thinking that you should like bring a player that you know. Like, let him even get there. He can't get there. Yeah. It's all her.
It's so lopsided, this relationship. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. So then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and Betty comes home to tell Alice about the
Betty
blood.
did not take Cheryl's advice.
She did not. She
did not. Opposite. It was a great scene, but nothing really good came out of it.
Yeah, nothing good came out of it. And she ended up going and saying, it wasn't her blood.
Yeah, Alice is like, was it her blood? Was it her blood? And then, was it, negative? And Betty's like, no, it was B- or whatever. Like, she had to like say the code of the blood. She had
to say the other one. Yeah.
I'm like, I knew she was gonna lie. I knew she was gonna lie.
And I think like it's one of those things where you see your mom and she's like, literally about to fall apart.
Truly, like you're trying to protect her. And in all fairness, they don't know yet. Like truly, they don't know. Yeah. So why are you gonna put your mom in that if you don't know for sure?
It's almost just frustrating knowing that they're going to use it as a plot point, because I'm just like, I feel like anyone would want to lie to their mom to make them feel.
And then after the way Alice reacts, I'm like, girl, really? Like, you're over here sitting in the dark drinking wine. Like, she was scared for you. Like, she was worried that you were going to go off the deep end. Like, for you to get mad at her. Like, come on.
100%. We'll talk about it at the very end because, like, that ending kind of annoyed me too. So then it cuts to the next morning, and Alice is like popped off. She's just like, whoop. She's like back to normal.
Pancake breakfast.
She's doing full pancake breakfast. She's got croissants in the oven. It looked delicious. I watched this in the morning and I was like very hungry when I watched this scene. So she's like making the food, and she asks Betty to go and pick up some cold cuts from Pops. So that's when she leaves. But Betty looks very confused. She's like, okay, cool. See you soon. Then it cuts to Principal Weatherby with Luerman's parents, and Jughead walks in to the office, and he's like, hey guys. And the parents just basically pop off on him. And she's like, what the fuck what were you talking to my son about? Like, this triggered him.
Yeah. Like, come talk to us.
And they're just like totally pissed off at him. And Jughead's trying to defend himself, and Weatherby's basically trying to be apologetic. And they're like, you can't even teach my kid. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. So they decide to pull him out of the class. And I was like, and he was like, don't worry, we'll teach him like with another English teacher. And I was like, isn't Jughead like the only English teacher?
You guys don't have teachers. Look, Jay, like if you try to look at all of these, because I watch it in the same lens as you. Like, I think about these little things, and I'm like, I can't. I have to let it go, because they don't even think about it. They truly don't. So why am I here sitting and think about it?
No, 100%. So once they leave, Weatherby yells at Jughead and says, like, if you do this one more time, like, it's over. Like, you totally crossed the line. It was pretty fucked up.
Also, like, again, I'm gonna say this here, like, this storyline got very detailed for something that like didn't need to get that detailed. Like, we didn't see a pre-meeting of the parents finding out and then being like, you suck at being a teacher. I was like, what is this like about teaching? Like, does someone want to like tell us a story? Like, I don't get it.
Like Michelle Pfeiffer? Like, I don't get it. So then it cuts to Cheryl talking to Fangs and Kevin. So this is her like counseling moment. She says that she wants to kind of make amends.
And I'll say this right here, because we got a couple of tweets about it too. They were like, when did Cheryl become like the spokesperson for like an actual marriage? Like relationship therapist. Like, who are you? You've been in your house for 7 years. You haven't had a relationship all that time. Why do you feel like at this point you can give sound advice to these two people?
Exactly.
Like, I mean, she really annoyed me this episode. Guilty. I love Cheryl. I know she felt guilty 100%. Like, that's where it came from. Yeah. She very like everyone annoyed me this week. I don't know. I think because like either they were inserting themselves in too many places, or like they just were stupid, like Archie. Like,
right.
Cheryl was just extra in my. It's like they needed to have that conversation with someone else, but there was nobody else, so they were like, put Cheryl in there and like make her apologize at the same time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. It was. They literally should have just gone to a relationship counselor.
Yeah, and like, even Kevin says it at the end. He's like, just shut up. He's like, stop like getting involved in a relationship. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, they try to talk. Fangs kind of presses him, and he hits the nail on the head with basically everything. He right off the top is like, "Are you ashamed of being gay?" Like he just like right off the top says it. Kevin denies it. He's like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like you don't know who I am. You don't know my trauma. You don't know this." And it just made me very frustrated because 7 years, guys, you put them together for 7 years, and you're gonna tell me that this never came up.
Yeah,
this never came up. That's a lie. That is
I
not
messaged
the way
you
gay relationships should go.
because I'm like, is this like the way? In my opinion, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, bullshit. At that point, like, should he be a full person? Should he be like, should they have crossed that bridge already?
Right.
And you were like, yeah, like I feel like it would have come up at some point in 7 years.
7 years, man,
of your adult life when you've already been out. Like it's not like he came out in those 7 years. Like he was already out before that too. Yeah. So like.
And also remember, he was the more gay one.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time.
7 years.
If anything, it'd be like reverse. Like Fangs would have like in my opinion, because like we found out Fangs was gay like later on
because he was going through like his own.
And I know
like whatever,
like you can't make those assumptions. I get it. Like everyone's story is different. Everyone like, but the level of how traumatized he was.
Oh, we'll talk about it, girl. I'm ready to pop off. Yeah. And listen, I'm going to preface it with, I'm trying to be respectful. I'm a part of the community, so I think I have a little bit of thing to say. And at the end of the day, these are characters that they're trying to be like, they are the characters. This is the gay storyline. So like, I have something to say about it. Whatever. We'll go into it when we get into it.
Just really quickly, I do wish we got to see this all before.
Yeah.
You know?
You're just like...
Because that coming to that realization, that like processing, like I get it. Some of it can happen later on in your life as an adult, but like we saw nothing of this barely before. So now seeing it, it's a very stark contrast. Anyways, we'll get to it after.
Yeah, we'll get into it for sure. So then it cuts to Pop's diner, and Jughead is talking to Betty because she's picking up these cold cuts, and she tells him about Polly and how she's like possibly dead. And Jughead's like, ooh.
This was cute.
So we get a really cute moment between like, I guess this is the Bughead moment.
He's like, are you okay? Like, is your mom okay? Like, it was cute.
Yeah, it was cute. I like seeing them together. See, this makes sense to me. Seeing them kind of get together for this reason feels way more natural.
Yes, you're right.
Way more natural.
And I do like how their things end this episode too, because it does feel real too.
Yes, we'll get to that as well. So he does say, she's like, because she says that, you know, like we went to the lonely highway and this is where she went missing. We found like a bunch of blood. And he says like, actually, I know someone who lived on the lonely highway and like knows it really well. I can talk
He's
to
like,
you.
You want to put these cold cuts in the fridge? Let's go now. I'm like, bro, she's got to go home first. Like go home and then go. Like, why not?
Go get the cold cuts to your mom.
She's trying to get to that support group. Trying to ruin her friendships.
It's so funny because I thought the exact same thing. I was like, the cold cuts.
It was such a random like extra line. Like if they had just gone, I would not have questioned that what happened to the cold cuts. Like I would have just been like, oh, they went home first and then they went to like go to the guy.
The same way. I was like, why are these cold cuts sitting here? Why?
Like sometimes they add lines and I'm like, why there and not there? Like
yeah. This is so funny. Cold cut gate 2021. So then it cuts to Bulldog Practice and Veronica comes in. I can't. So Veronica comes in onto the field while they're practicing and she's like, here we go, I brought a guest for you guys, and it's T-Dub. Is T-Dub an actual, okay, I don't know football, guys, so I apologize. Is he like a person?
No,
he's not real.
No,
he doesn't exist.
And the team is not a real team. It's like, but they're making fun of the New York Giants.
Oh, okay.
New York
got it.
Goliaths.
New York Goliaths.
Yeah.
Got it. T-Dub. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, he's
I
not
thought
a
he
real-
was real.
no.
Everybody was like lit for him. They were so excited to see him.
I mean, maybe he is real. I don't think so. No, I don't think he is.
Because he's from the first episode where she was doing like the whole like hidden gems situation.
Yeah, he was in
She's
there.
Like, T-Dub, what did you do to your girlfriend? Like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
It was him.
You have to get these diamonds. Like, yeah.
So it all came together this episode. And so anyway, so he gives a little bit of a speech to them being like, you can believe in yourself and you can do this, you can do it all. And I was like, is this supposed to like get these guys like
this is coming from a 7 foot 300 pound muscular man.
Like
well, yeah, you could do
player.
it.
Do
These
it.
Cute
yeah,
little kids are gonna get like splayed all over the field if they do it like you. Like,
you see this little like nugget girl in the front be like, yeah.
Meanwhile, she's the one that did the best out of everyone.
Yeah, she's the one that fucking killed it. Yeah. Anyway, she was the only one.
It was so
taking notes
funny,
clearly.
guys.
So anyway, so he gives a speech, he gets them all amped up, and then Archie's like, cool, but like I still don't got like another team.
He's like, you didn't solve the problem. I don't have players.
he didn't fix anything.
She's like, no.
Like, wait.
I have nothing else.
She calls like half the school comes through. Half the school.
Like, where were they this whole time?
Like, didn't you guys do recruitment already? Like, it didn't even work out. So once again, going back to the fact that Archie has zero influence,
nothing.
Zero pull,
nothing.
Cannot run a football team, cannot do it successfully. Just give her his entire storyline to Veronica.
Yeah,
just let him be a firefighter.
She should be the coach of that football
team.
Be the literally.
She's like, I'm doing everything. She did everything. I might as well just do it.
Yeah. Even like the recruits, it could have been on him. He could have been like, I went down to like the Skid Row area, and he's like, I found like young people to like who wants to
come through.
Something like something like that, like where he got the boxing club and he got the young kids to come. Yeah. Like something like he could have done that. They didn't even give him that. Homeboy didn't even get that. No.
Useless. He's so useless. The more we talk about him, I'm like, what a fucking useless piece of shit. Anyway, so cuts to Hiram and Reggie, and Hiram's like, all right, like we gotta make sure this team never comes through. Like we gotta break some skulls. You gotta go out there and you gotta like beat some people up. And Reggie's like, we don't have to go that far. Like it's a football team. Like it's not that big of a deal. And I was like, since when is Reggie like the voice of reason when it comes to these
things?
Since
when is Reggie's storyline the one that makes the most sense? Because even in this moment, if he had said like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill them, I would have been like, oh my god, Reggie, like what happened?
Like, who are
but the
you?
way he was like, no, why am I gonna do that? Like I'm not gonna break someone's legs for you, like for that. Like I loved how he just kind of like he brought the show like back to reality a little bit, like
which is shocking.
Yeah,
that, like they gave it to him. It's very true. So then Hiram's basically like, okay, fine. Like if you're not gonna do it, you're off the coaching team. I'm gonna coach them. And then Reggie's like, okay, fine. I'm gonna be a bulldog again. So is he like quitting working for Hiram, or is he just like for this moment? Like now a part of the Riverdale team. And also like, why did Hiram let that happen? He should have been like, you sit your ass down, I pay your bills, like shut your fucking mouth. Like I don't understand why he even allowed him to walk away from him like that. I was like, Reggie has zero pull over Hiram.
Yeah.
Anyway, kind of a stupid scene, but it's fine. We'll take it. It's the one that like of all the things that don't make any sense, like that one was okay.
Yeah.
So then it comes to Betty and Jughead, and they go over to this random guy's house. I don't forget his name. Roger, Ron, Rob, one of the ones that got abducted, didn't get abducted. And Betty goes on to say like, this is what happened to my sister. Like, we found this booth on the side of the road. It was just covered in blood. And he was like, was it shredded? Like a tin can? And she's like, yeah, it was like pretty bruck up. And he's like, oh, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
It was from like 1980 and then 1993.
And then Richard went missing. And then Ramirez went missing. And then Rodrigo.
It's the Mothman, y'all. So
and she was like, what?
She looked.
I ain't falling for this dumbass shit. Like she was like, Jughead, you brought me into this whack ass storyline. I'm leaving right now. She's like, I'm going back to my own storyline. She's like, I don't want to have anything to do with this.
I'm not doing this with you. I'm not doing this with you.
Yeah.
So she like literally, it was so funny because the camera was zoomed in on Jughead because Jughead's like, yeah,
he's getting more excited. Yeah.
But like in the background, you can see like she's blurry
like,
because the camera was panned, and she was like, what the fuck? She looks so pissed off. She's like, this is so bull. Why am I here? So anyway, so he goes on to say things like, yeah, the Mothmen are here. And like, he sounds crazy. He sounds absolutely insane. Yeah. And Jughead is also kind of like, you can tell he's kind of like nervous that he brought it up.
Yeah, he's like, are you not into this, Betty? Are you not believing? Are you not believing my storyline?
You don't believe in like Mothmen?
Yeah.
And like trauma.
I did research.
Like that. But that's the thing. I just don't understand what what he was getting at either. So anyway, they leave, and then she like basically turns to him, and she's like, "Yo, you wasted all of my day. I could have at least brought my mom cold cuts."
Lost it. I was like, "Thank you, Lily Reinhart, for bringing the show back down." She's like, "Are you dumb?" She's like, "What are you doing here? Like, she's like, why'd you even bring me here? My freaking cold cuts now are ruined. My mom can't go to her support group, and you wasted my effing day. Okay, this is why we done broke up."
You idiots.
I died. I was like, this is amazing. Because like, yeah, like old Betty would have been like, okay, like you might have something, you might like be onto something. But no. This Betty was like, you wasted my time. Like, please go to Tabitha. Like, go. You ain't my problem anymore. Like,
yeah.
I loved it.
I died. I was like, you guys, it's going to be a long road before Bughead gets
back like you guys got to wait.
Yeah, you guys got to wait a little bit longer. Because like, he's like, because he even leaves the conversation being like,
he was like, he's like, what happened? Like, why? He's like, she didn't believe me?
But that's the thing. Does he believe that it's real, or does he think
he really
that it's
does.
the trauma of the town? Like, what is the story he's trying to tell?
I have no idea.
Because like he's investigating this kid, he thinks that he's been in trauma. Like he's
the thing with Jughead, and the fact that he's a writer too, he loves a good story. Like he gets so infatuated with stories. That's why he loved movies. Like he was a film buff because like he loves getting sucked into like that world, that creative whatever, you know. So he falls for this stuff, right? The fantasy of it all and the escapism. But like she's like, bro, like my sister's probably dead. My mom needs me. Like I can't be here with you right now.
That's the part I just didn't understand. I was like, why would you go that far? You know, her sister is literally missing. You think going to a guy who,
I guess he really thought he's like that into the story that like he legit thought that like she got abducted by aliens.
If this whole season ends with aliens abducting somebody, like legit, we see like the spaceship like sucking someone up, I would not be surprised. Truly,
I mean, you're right. Like at this point, I am scared. I am really scared.
I am scared. I am confusion. So anyway, then it cuts to the Cooper residence, and Betty's like, Sorry, I was just looking at my notes. So she's having this serious moment, okay? Outside of this particular moment in the scene, I thought it was phenomenal. It was a great scene. But she gets to her room and the music is playing and it's like very low. She picks up this picture of her and Polly, and it's like, guys, the art department fail. The fucking graphics department fired. Like everyone loses.
I knew you were gonna say this.
It was the worst Photoshop picture.
I had to pause it, and I was like, "What?" I'm like, they don't even like. It doesn't even look like it's so skewed. Like it doesn't fit.
She's like,
she's like in the foreground,
massive, and she's like blue, and then like freaking Betty's like orange. I was like, you guys.
Oh my
suck.
God. I love
what
that you just said that.
Give this fucking job to? It was
terrible. My God. It was like short of literally cutting two photos and like gluing them together.
Gluing them together.
Like
That's
it looked like that.
what it looked like. That's exactly what it looked like.
But having said that, like I did love this scene where like she's reminiscing and like she does hear her voice, and I was like, damn, like it was sad.
It was beautiful. She hears all the memories of like the last thing that she kind of said to Polly.
She's like, you left us, and like you can't come back, and like tell me, and it's true, right? Like in Betty's mind, like those things are all going through, and she's like, if I was here, maybe my sister wouldn't be missing. And
right.
It was like, it got me there.
And then the phone call, like the final phone call where she's like, I hope you're okay. Like, just come back home. We miss you. It was really cool. And then it's that scene that we got from the trailer where like it's zooming into her face. Then it's like her eyeball. And then it closes in even closer and it's her eyeball. And she's kind of just like looking. And then she has this like snap moment where she like looks in the mirror, she pulls out a gun, she like fills it up, and then she just dips. So I was like, pop off, sis.
And I think it's important to see here that they've never done this shot before. They did an aerial shot of her coming down the staircase in her house. And if you're a film buff, you know that the staircase is sort of like a symbol for like you're losing your shit. Like you are going down, you are losing your sanity. So
you were going down.
You're going down. So if that is true and Betty starts to now lose herself in this, I'm down for that too. But we've seen that so many times with her, right? Like that darkness, the like falling into like nothing. Like we've seen that from her, but
a part of me just wants her to like go over the edge now.
Yeah, I want her to get there.
Her to just like totally.
Yeah, I mean, we almost saw it, right? Like at the end.
Yeah. The gag will be that she's the TBK. She's like, she's having,
you know what? That crossed my mind a couple of times.
You think
yeah,
so?
But then I'm like, but then she was kidnapped. Like, how would she have been kidnapped by like herself?
Yeah. She would have never killed. I don't think she would have gone and dismembered and killed people. She's not that psychotic. Yeah. But anyway, interesting thought. So then I cut to the steam room. Oh God, I can't.
Ooh,
I'm just waiting for like the next
really
bad moment.
This was really bad.
So yeah, so it's in the steam room. Kevin comes in and he sees this new guy and he's like, "Oh hey, how's it going?"
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, "Yo, like I just came back from LA, like sick Riverdale. Like who the fuck goes to Riverdale from LA? Like nobody I know."
I was like, what a random like tidbit. Like why not just say New York or something? Like why LA?
He could have been from Greendale. Like like it could have been anywhere.
Again, so very like, random fact, like
very randomly written fact for sure. So then he's like, yeah, like LA is cool. And he's like, so that it is true what they say about people from LA. And he's like, what does that mean? And then Kevin goes like,
first of all,
they're all really hot.
The way the guy was reacting to, he was like, oh, he goes, what do they say? Like he was being playful with him. Yeah. When I watched it back, I was like, it's not like he was like sitting there like this being like, what do they say?
Yeah.
He was talking into it. Like
maybe that is why they said LA, because like with LA, it's always just like they're always full of themselves. They're just like, tell me more about me. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so maybe, like,
I guess
they were going with that. Yeah. I don't know. So Kevin gets the wrong message and he's like, well, this is what happens in Riverdale. And he touches his leg and the guy's like, ew. And he literally
like freaks. He's like, what the you, and he like beats the shit. When I watched it back, I'm like, okay, he touched his knee. Like it wasn't like he tried to kiss him. Like yeah, it's still very like it's you're coming onto my body, but like it wasn't like he tried to like hug him or like kiss him on the lips or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like you beat the shit out of him because of that. Like,
and he apologized. To him.
Yeah.
And it was also like the amount of times that Kevin is like this big whore running around like one of our listeners, Dick Pig, goes out into the woods and fucking fucks anything that he sees. You don't think that like at any point in time in the
this would have happened
7+ years that this would have happened?
Wow, that's a really good
like,
point.
For me,
so like he hasn't learned either. In that sense.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because like the story that he tells later has even less of a meaning to me.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that this is the first time he's ever gotten gay bashed, because I'm just like, bitch, are you fucking kidding me? And also, I don't believe that everybody from LA is gonna fucking wail on some guy.
That's what I'm saying, and that's like why it was a very little unfair thing to say. I'm from LA, like. What does that mean? That he's like homophobic because he's from LA? Like
choose a blue state at least.
Yeah, like say like Idaho or something, and then you could be like, no offense to Idaho, but like I think you guys did vote for Trump.
Like homophobic. Yeah, exactly.
But or just don't say anything then, because now you're judging a state too. Like so, it's not
like,
fair.
Look at us, we're going off. On it. Be like, eh. Anyway, so he gets his ass beat in the place. It was pretty intense. So then it cuts to Betty and she's watching the truckers. Like she's literally like sitting in that car, like just like watching people like a psycho. And she sees some girl get in. She then it cuts to like the inside of the truck. And then before the girl is about to like make out with a guy or whatever, Betty stops them. She like pulls the girl out and she threatens the guy and she says like, tell your dirtbag friends, like the party's over. Like you're not doing this shit anymore. Even though the guy's like, but they always want it. They want to get like tricked and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's a different storyline that we can't
like
really
we are
get
not
into.
going down that door.
We can't talk about sex work right now. So then it cuts to the scene that I've been dreading to talk about this entire time.
But also, can I just really quickly say how like Betty was beating the shit out of these guys from the passenger seat? Like she's like 8 feet apart from these men. She's like, boom, boom. I'm like, how much power do you have in like your left finger arm? Like,
yeah,
like she was like beating. I'm like, okay, that's
so
like,
strong.
yeah,
killed me. So anyway, so then this is the scene where Tom is helping Kevin. He's like bandaging him up. He's like cleaning up his face or whatever. And he says, you're a grown man. And as your father, I'm terrified for you. Like, what's going on? And that sentence in itself, you're a grown man. And as your father, I am terrified for you. What's going on? Like, that is the question of the day. Like, what the fuck is going on with Kevin? Why did you guys write him like this? I don't understand. Anyways, so Kevin basically goes on to say, like, you know, like he's spiraling too. And he's like, I think I'm ashamed of myself of being gay. And he says this one thing. So this is the moment I'm like waiting for this story because I'm just like,
yeah, I'm like, oh my God, he's really going to say something.
The story of all stories.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like this is going to all make sense after he says this story. He basically says, he was like, what, 15 years old? Because he was also like fucking people at this point too. So you have to assume that he was a little bit older, right?
Yeah, because he was going to Fox Forest.
Yeah. So he's like, my mom he's like, you know, like you've always been really good, Dad, but like mom did something. And he goes on to tell this story because like Tom is also like, what? Your mom was like, since when is she homophobic? So he goes on to say, like, this one time, like, mom made, like, an offhanded comment of, like, needing to buy me, like, husky clothes. He didn't even say, okay, first of all, he didn't even say, like, masculine clothes.
Yeah, like,
he didn't say, they, like, beat around the bush. Like, husky, to me, sounds like, were you, like, fat-shamed? Like, is that the situation? The way I see husky, it means, like, you're a bigger person. Yeah. So, like, she wanted to get you bigger clothes because you were, like, I don't know, whatever. In my mind, that's where I went with it. Like, she couldn't even say masculine.
But also, like, is it wrong for me to say that, like, Kevin, as we knew him, he wore, like, guy clothes. It's not like he was so feminine where he was wearing, like girl clothes.
But maybe, like, this was the moment. I don't know. Like, that's the thing. He doesn't even elaborate on the story to be like, you know, Dad, how I used to, like, love to wear pink and, like, love to wear this.
Like, if he had said something like that, that's what I mean. Like,
we don't get an understanding of, like, where his head was at in that moment. So it makes it feel even shittier of a reason as to why he, like, fucking spiraled. So he goes on to say, like, when that happened, when I went shopping with my mom, and she told me to get huskier clothes. Like, I went to Fox Forest.
And they told me I was beautiful.
And then we fucked in the forest. And that's why I want to fuck in the forest, because it makes me feel beautiful. You know what, bitch?
Go off. Please go off.
Like, he literally says, like, all the stuff my mom said, like, washed away. I'm hardwired this way. And I was like, no, or the writers like just can't get you out of like a shitty storyline. So this is what they gave you instead. Like,
he could have said so many things.
A billion.
He could have said so many other things that I think would have like just triggered something else.
I just got so pissed about this. Or even added a little bit more context to the story.
Yeah.
Even a little bit more context. Because the one thing that I will say is, if he mentions like, and then mom died, and then I never got a chance to like reconcile that feeling that she had toward me. Like, I never got to talk to her about it.
And it's been bottled up. Oh, okay,
that makes sense. Like, he was never able to reconcile it. So that's why he's always searching for that like thing. This motherfucker just went to the woods. Just see that you were a fucking horny dick pig. Like, come on. At this point, this is all I'm expecting out of you at this point. So I have 3 major points. Number 1.
Yeah.
I literally had to write it down.
Yeah.
Number 1, in 7 years, Kevin never brought this up. Like this one moment. Again, just the one moment with his mom to Fangs to help heal him. Like, you're in a relationship for 7
years. You are now having a baby.
And you're getting married and you decide to bury the one weak ass fucking story point that has ruined your entire life. Because why? Because you couldn't go to counseling, you couldn't pay for it, were you poor? Like, I just smells like privilege to me, bitch. That's what it smells like. So number 2, you never talked to your dad about this before, ever. Like, it was just you and your dad for how long? Yeah. And you never brought this up to your father, who you know accepts you, and been like, you know, I love mom, but like, why was she mean to me that one time? The one fucking time that's ruined my entire life. Weak sauce. Number 3 and final moment is what I want to say. I'm so sorry, Kevin, about what happened with you. I'm going to let you finish. But my fucking left toe has more gay trauma than your ass does in your whole entire fucking being. How did the writers create like the weakest apex? This is the point of trauma.
Do you think they do this because they know that their audience is so juvenile that their audience won't be able to grasp anything that is more like bigger?
No, because there are kids that literally get kicked out of the house for being gay.
Yeah.
And I wrote down Cheryl went to a conversion facility for being gay, and you're telling me that your mom told you one time to wear more masculine clothes and it made you spiral for 17 years? Get me out of here.
Who writes for Kevin? Fire them, please.
Fire them.
Get someone else. Like, why? Why do you guys do Kevin like this? I don't get it. It could have been so many other things. And I truly do also feel like because we haven't gotten Kevin, like this is the first time we're peeling him open. You know, so of course it feels like this, like because like we haven't gotten anything other than him going to Fox Forest and like whatever.
I feel so robbed. This is what their apex moment was for his story. You guys can rewrite this now. Like, this is what his story is, and it makes me so angry.
For what a platform they have, for the platform that they have, and for the stories that they are allowed to say, it's really upsetting. It's very upsetting that you guys, you know, for me, from my perspective, this guy's story this season should have been he's married happily to Fangs. They're having a baby. They're functional. They both have great jobs. They work. They pay their bills. Like, that to me should have been the example that they are setting for them as a couple, as a gay couple.
Because to the point that we're saying, you guys never set this up for him in the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, he had a kink in the woods, but then by the time Fangs came in, we didn't care about the fact that he was fucking people, strangers in the woods. We were over it. And instead you carried over his trauma into 7 years later. And then you're telling me that the reason why he's doing it is because this one time his mom told him that he needed to wear more masculine clothes. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
I truly
That's not relatable at all to me.
I don't know, J-Lag. I really don't know like how they come so short of these moments. And it's not like they don't have a representative like crew on that writing team. Like they have a person of every single, you know, whatever.
Everybody signed off on this. So like shame on all of you for fucking
I just don't know how they're like, that's gonna work. That's gonna be the thing that ties it all and everyone's gonna get it. No, bitch, we out here being like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why can't you guys just write this properly?
Like, maybe instead of talking about cold cuts, you could have at least added a few more lines into this guy's fucking story. Yeah. So it feels at least like you were getting, like, we got a peel, like you were saying, we got this peel back about his history, but it amounted to nothing. Yeah. It just makes him look like a fucking spoiled piece of shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's hear about I want to know about Fang's storyline.
Me
What
too.
is his
Me
trauma?
too.
He came out late.
He had no
realized that
parents.
He was gay during a cult. He has no parents. He's a person of color.
Meanwhile,
Like,
he's
were you
out
gonna
here
tell
being like, I want to have a family with you. Aren't you okay with this? Like,
the
yeah,
fuck
well,
are you talking
Kevin,
about,
you're
guys?
privileged. You really are.
Fucking privilege,
It's so
man. Yeah.
true. Wow.
Like, I would not be with Kevin after all that. If I heard that story,
I'd be
and
like,
I was
go
Fangs, I'd be
learn
like,
about yourself more. Cause
delete. Yeah. Go figure it out. Okay, rant over, guys. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sitting with us, for presenting ourselves.
You know, because I really quickly, I do think sometimes that I'm like, they didn't want to go there because, like, you know, their audience is younger, so they don't want to really go into that like dark area. But yeah, you're right. They freaking sent Cheryl to conversion therapy, like 1960s style. Like they went there, so you're right. Like they do go there.
100%.
So that can't be my excuse.
Like they should tell that story. Like it is, and conversion therapy is a real thing. But this is not the trauma that I needed to know from Kevin. Some weak ass like flick of the wrist trauma. Like I don't understand. Like he doesn't act as if he has been traumatized. There are people who are really traumatized with their own experiences. This was nothing to me, and the fact that he can't get it together for his man and like his baby, waste man. What a waste man, Kevin. Total.
I'm sorry, Kevin.
Right.
I'm sorry that Kevin got this.
I want to like him so badly.
They just write him terribly.
Fucking awful. And I was hoping 7 years later they would have given him something,
me too.
But this is just like not it.
Yeah.
Like
it keeps getting worse, to be honest.
So yeah, literally. After I heard that, I was like, well, it's only, I guess, uphill from here, maybe. Like I don't know. All right, cutting back to Betty, the one who's popping off for realsies because her sister's fucking dead. She has a reason to fucking kill somebody. So she goes back to the truck stop and she sees the same guy from like earlier in the season, the one who like had a connection with Polly or Patty or whoever he thought she was. And she gets in the car again and she punches him and she's like, you're coming with me. She like rips him out of the car, like literally like pulls this guy out of the car. It was so funny to watch this like tiny little girl fucking rip this guy out of the truck. Then it cuts to Jughead getting a call from Principal Weatherby saying that Luerman ran away from home. So Jughead's like, oh shit. And then Betty is like beating this guy's ass in the forest. So it's in the middle of the forest. He's tied to a tree. He's getting his ass handed to him. And Betty's like losing it, like not in the like frantic sense. Like it's not like an Alice thing. Like she's like very focused on what she wants to do. She's like, I'm enraged. You guys are killing fucking women. You guys are like doing all this stuff. You're back on this. Like you're back on it even after I arrested you. Like she makes a really good point. Like she's like, this guy, you're disgusting. Like you have a family.
Yeah.
Like, he even says like, I have a family. And she's like, even more of a reason for me to kill your ass. So she's like, I can deliver justice. And she's literally about to shoot this guy in the head. And Jughead calls right in that moment. And he's like, I need help with this kid. He's on the highway. Like, I need you to help me. And she stops and she says she's going to get someone to untie him the next morning if she remembers. So what did you think of this moment? Like, were you okay with Betty popping off that hard, like going to that level of like extreme?
Yeah,
or
I think I was, because I'm like, can something happen? Like, you know, at this point, like I want to watch something with stakes and like our characters gonna like fall, and I'm down to see that. So I think I was very okay with it just kind of happening. Yeah,
same.
Real stakes.
Really feel like it was just. I loved it. I mean, I'm like, Betty, go dark for me. Like,
yeah,
go all
can
the way.
Something happen?
Spin off, like spin off, girl. So then it cuts to the Bulldog versus the Stallions game. It starts, but we don't get anything until a few scenes later. It cuts to Betty and Jughead with Luerman. So she found him on the road. Jughead meets him halfway on the road. And all Luerman says is, did it happen again? And then everybody's like, what? And so then it cuts to Weatherby in the office with the parents. And it turns out this whole storyline amounted to the fact that he's a sleepwalker. And I was like, Are you fucking kidding me? You guys couldn't tell us this information from the very beginning.
Why wouldn't they say that in the first meeting? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, we got so detailed with this kid's story. The mom could have been like, he's a sleepwalker, so sometimes he like sees things. Like, just be careful. No, they didn't say any of that till now.
Nothing. Like, you couldn't even say, like, leave him alone. Like, this could trigger him. Like, pull him aside and be like, yo, like, you know what you fucked my son up doing? So like, ridiculous. She was like, she even says, she's like, I didn't want to tell you this because this is what like triggered him the last time, and then it triggered him again. So I'm just like, but it triggered him.
So, like, girl, you don't even know your son.
You don't even know your son. And apparently he was missing for a week the last time. I was like, so you literally thought this kid was fucking missing for a week? And then you found him on the side of the road and he didn't remember anything? I'm like, oh my God, I can't with this story. Like, it went, like, that's the thing. This is Riverdale. It's like, we got a story, guys. We got a story. Let's go crazy. Like, it just fucking, like, they think that, like, you think that the story's kind of weird. So they slowly, like, kind of edge toward it. And then they just go, like, fucking totally off the rails with, like, how extreme it's going to get. So they can, like, fit these puzzle pieces together, and it still doesn't make any sense to me. I'm still very confused as to what's happening. So I'm just like, what? Anyway, so then it cuts to Pop's Diner. Betty and Jughead have a moment where they're talking and kind of like just debriefing, and she's like, it is kind of weird that Polly, my sister, and your student Luerman were both on the lonely highway.
I love this impression.
There must be a connection. I know, I made her sound like Marilyn Monroe. I'm like, but there isn't a connection. Your sister and Luerman on the highway are just like storylines.
And I'm pretty sure there's only one highway in Riverdale, so the chances of it happening are pretty high.
I'm just like, what are you telling me? There's a connection. That's what I'm telling you. The writers are like, we got to find a way to connect them. Guys, I got it. He's going to have a sleepwalking student who's going to be missing for a week. And then her sister's going to go missing on the same highway. We made them together. Bughead.
Yeah,
guys. Bughead. Guys, no. That's not what we want. What's wrong with you people?
Can't anymore. I can't. I have no... Like, my soul is, like, depleted. Was this the mid-season finale? Oh, no, next week is.
No, next week.
I'm like, oh, please, God.
Like, please
let this finish.
We're just like, let's end it. All right, so then we have the game of all games, beginning and
all right,
ending.
let's get through this real quick, guys.
Okay, so Cheryl, first right off the top, performs Stupid Love.
Love the song.
One of my favorite songs of the summer. Lady Gaga.
Love the song.
You.
Hate the dancer.
Sound. Okay. You hated the dancing. The sound mixing. I wanted to rip my fucking headphones out and play the song regular
what was it doing?
On top of her. She literally sounded like she was in a sound booth. Like she sounded like she was in a sound booth. It sounded like the same thing that happened with like the fucking I noticed that.
Where it was like she was like in an echoed room.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys forgot to put in like
the filter.
What the crowd sounds.
Yeah, they forgot the filter for
crowd cheering.
I noticed that.
I was like, go ask how the Grammys do it. Everybody sings a live track. Like, get her to sing a live track. Like, it sounds like she's running and jumping because she's doing a full fucking choreographed dance.
Gym made sense because they were in a gym, so it sounded like what a gym would sound like. But this one was outside. It was like kind of raining. They're at a football field. Cheering. There's crowds. There was like none of that. Anyways,
she's like, you're the one, and it's like, you're the one. Like, it was just like her voice. That's it. And then it would cut to scenes where like they're like, yeah, and it cuts to like the football team like fighting, and there would be some moments where like you would hear her voice. I'm like, just keep the whole thing like that. It just feels so out of place. And then to your point, her dancing, Cheryl.
I think one dance off, and a dance off is different from a dance. So a dance off is exciting. It's between two people and they're competing, and it's like whatever. Right. There's like the whoosh, whoosh, down for that. But not when she's doing a solo dance at a football game. Her poor cheering squad was like, what about us though? Like, we're the teenagers. We should be dancing. This bitch is up here in her freaking red tracksuit. After she's 7 years of being MIA, she's like dancing. I don't know. I just felt like it was so, I didn't need her to be doing that dance right now. And like, you're so into yourself. Like, get over yourself. Like nobody wants to see you dance. We're trying to watch this stupid damn football game. Okay,
Yeah.
let's get to the football game. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And couldn't she be that leader? Couldn't she be that coach that's like, get on?
That's
that
what I'm saying.
pyramid.
Glow up your
Go over
kids. Go up
there."
your students. Instead of she's like doing herself. And I just felt like it was such
She's a
a like
child.
narcissistic moment for Cheryl. Everyone pissed me
Yeah.
off this episode. Like they were just like, yeah. And then on top of that, her singing, the sound sounded terrible.
Yeah, it was just
Let the
not a
football
good
game
moment
play
for me.
out. Like, why do you guys have to constantly like cut between shit? Like it
Yeah.
and like stupid love doesn't even make sense for a football game. Okay.
Yeah, do
Like-
a fun song. Like We Are the Champions or something.
Yeah,
I don't
like
know,
something.
fucking anything else. I mean, I love Lady Gaga, but like I was just like, is it because RAS tweeted her and she said she loved Riverdale, so then he asked her for the track and like that's why it's there? Like who knows? But I wanted to like the moment. I really did,
No,
but at the same
I'm
time it
just
was also
mad.
like, okay, it was a little cringe. I'm not
It
gonna
was
lie.
cringe.
Like,
I'm telling you guys, like I've
it's
never
cringe.
felt so many cringe moments in one episode. And I want to love it. I want to be there and I want to love every moment. And I love Gaga. Like, but this,
Yeah.
and I love Cheryl. Like, I love Cheryl. But this
Yeah.
was so cringe. It was so self-serving. I was like, you're the coach. Like, you shouldn't be up there dancing
shouldn't
on your
be
own.
doing
At
those
least they could have had
things.
like people beside her. She was like soloing
Yeah.
it out. Like,
Well, she was like, yeah, the pyramid was behind her, basically,
oh, okay.
like doing nothing.
Yeah.
They were
There,
just, like,
yeah. There you go. Anyways,
yeah, nothing.
football game. It happens.
Football game, the Bulldogs are getting their asses
Yeah.
whipped for like 90% of the entire thing.
And the whole point
And
was that
Archie
like they
has
just need to score 1 point.
There's one goal.
One goal.
They didn't even need to win the
No.
game. Like they just had to score once. And that's how bad they are, guys. So then Archie's like, don't give up on yourself. If you don't, you don't lose. Okay, you'll never lose if you never give up on yourself. And I'm like, it was kind of a weak. I mean, I
You
wasn't
know
a
why?
Friday Night Lights person, but I was just like, is it a line?
No,
from Friday
so
Night
it's
Lights?
not.
Like,
But in Friday Night Lights, before every single game, their thing was clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. That is like the serious slogan. It was like printed everywhere. Clear eyes, full
Yeah.
hearts, can't lose. So
that sounds sick.
and it's a sick line, but like in the context of that show. But in this one, they're like clear hearts, believe yourself. You will never fail yourself. Like it was like a knockoff, no
like
name
the
brand
American
version of
Express
like
version.
yeah. I was like, stop, please stop, please stop trying to be Friday Night Lights, okay? I can't anymore.
oh my god, it's so warm in this sweater.
So,
Oh my god.
so anyways,
Okay.
can we just get to the end? Because the
Let's
ending
get to
was
the
one
end.
of my best parts, and it sounded like for you guys for your roundups, it was your best too. My girl Britta filter, my girl Britta, she's I guess like running back, and then like she gets the ball. I'm like the puck. She gets the ball. She like runs. Archie's like, yo, like we're actually gonna get a point, and she runs. She like does something, whoosh whoosh, gets a touchdown. They win. Awesome. The girl scores.
They don't even
Loved
win.
it.
That's the worst.
They don't even win. They just score. So it's like literally them scoring, and the team behind them's like, well, we still won. So
We still beat you by 70 points, so it's fine.
Oh my god! But it was cute. It was a very cute moment. Loved it. She was so happy. Everyone's
I
cheering.
was stressed about why she had her braid out because I feel like no female football player would ever keep her braid out because like wouldn't they?
You
Just
could like
yank
pull
her,
it.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
Yeah.
And then after the game, Veronica comes up and she's like, "Yes, good job, aren't you, kids? Love you." And then he's like, "Ronnie for the win, yo! Like you did it too. You're like, good job."
Well, like she
And
did it
I'm
all
pissed.
basically, though.
Yeah, she basically did everything. And then Derek comes by and he's like, "Thanks, Dad, for all of your help. I'm gonna go there now. Goodbye." So he leaves. I don't know why.
Yeah, like he
they're
still
randomly-
was like, I'm still gonna be here though. I'm not coming back to your team.
Like yeah, he's
BTW.
like, I still got my scholarship on like writing, so like good for
Yeah.
you guys, but like you guys only got one goal, so like I'm not coming back. What a stupid
Sounds
story!
so dumb.
You guys see one goal. Should that mean that Britta gets $10,000? Good for her.
That's what I was like. Who got the 10 grand? Like it was her.
10,000 river dollars.
Yeah.
You can buy a bunch of burgers from Pops. All right. So then it cuts to Jughead and Weatherby. And it turns out that Luerman's parents dipped from school. Like they just like left. They're gone.
Yeah. Everything's
That's the
gone.
end
Their
of the
bills have been
story.
paid. They're out of town.
Yeah, they're out of
Goodbye.
town. That was the end of the story. That was kind of random. I was like,
Very
okay.
random. Very.
Like, why does Jughead keep having these like encounters that like don't ever end up to be anything? Like, he found an alien 2
It was
weeks
almost
ago.
like they were like hired to like fuck with Jughead.
You're like, theoretically, it could be the situation.
Yeah, because now they're just gone.
Student.
Like, you know, no one can ask more questions.
I mean, it's okay,
let's keep going.
Yeah, final scene, Cooper residence. Betty gets home. Sorry, guys. Betty gets home and she's like, hey, Mom.
She's like, ugh, sweating.
She's like, oh, God, I
the
almost
shit out
killed
of
somebody
someone.
tonight. Yeah. She like almost murdered somebody. She walks in
This
and
girl.
Alice is like totally pissed and she's crying. She's like bawling. She's like, why are you so upset, Mom? And then she turns the corner and Glenn is in there. And he's like, you didn't tell your mom that the blood was Polly's?
It was O positive.
And then Betty's like, I'm sorry, Mom. And then Alice pops off on her.
Like,
she's so pissed. She's like, you lied to me about her. And you shouldn't have done that.
And I ordered those cold cuts and they never came.
I never got that support group. I never got to go to that thing. And look at me now.
I made all that damn coffee. Look what you did to me. And then it kind of just ends like on her face. And I was like,
well, yeah,
okay.
it shows like Betty gets pulled off the case. Glenn is going to be taking over from here on out or whatever. So like, what does that entail? Do we even care right now? Is Glenn still the TBK? Like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? So useless. I hate this guy. He's so freaking
He's so
extra.
sketch too. Like he's so sketch.
He's so sketch. And I don't know if they're doing it on purpose, but like he looks like he could be a murderer. So anyway, guys, let's get into our recap roundups.
Okay.
Recap roundups.
Best moment. Best moment is going to go to our girl Britta. She won the 10K. She scored the touchdown. They didn't win, but she got the TD.
Yeah. Good for
best
her.
Moment.
I'm so happy for her. My best moment is Dark Betty emerging, that mirror sequence, the one where she's looking at the Photoshop picture. She outside of that, it was a really cool sequence because we've never really seen something like that, and like to your point, that whole like above the stairwell, like the spiral.
I definitely think for them to put the camera like to set that shot up, because we've never seen it before. Like we've never seen that upper landing of the stairs.
View.
So I definitely think there's a reason why they really wanted to like get that shot.
And I'm excited for this whole Dark Betty storyline. Do you think that, like, this is the thing when I talk about the fact, like, at the beginning of the episode, like, I know where they're going to go with it. They're obviously going to get her to a certain point, and then Jughead's going to pull her back, and then they're going to be like, you don't have to be dark, just like you did in the first season. So, like, that's where I'm assuming it's going to go. But do you have any other ideas so I can feel inspired to watch the rest of the season?
I honestly wish I did for you, J-Lag. I truly, really, I'm gonna probably just start making fan fiction, because at this point I don't trust that they can do anything.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's gonna happen. And that's so lame that we can guess that that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm just like waiting for when it's gonna happen. Probably after the jump.
In the summer.
WTF moment.
What was your WTF moment?
WTF moment, I'm going to give it to Kevin getting his ass beat in the sauna. Ooh. I just didn't see it happening. Like, it caught me off guard, and like it was very intense for like what I think transpired. It was too much. And then also Betty beating the shit out of these grown-ass trucker men in like from the passenger seat. She's like, douche, douche, douche. She's like literally one-handed. She's like beating the shit out of them. I was like, oh, gosh.
So extreme. My WTF moment is like just the writing of this episode. I think that just like everything felt very disjointed. Like, you put like a story about football, aliens, like minors running away from home, gay trauma, a woman who's possibly getting murdered, and I'm not even like just licking things off. That's literally the 5-6 storylines that are happening in one episode. And it's just like, I know, guys, it's 5 seasons in. I should expect that this is what Riverdale is, but like the cuts were so disjointed. Like, you're talking about someone traumatized about the fact that her sister might be murdered, and then literally the next scene is like Archie being like, I don't know if I can find another football player for my game. It makes me
until you said that I didn't realize it, and then when you said it like that, I was like, Yeah,
Like,
you're
how
right.
Are we
like
supposed to react?
You can't. Yeah, and I don't know if they're supposed to have these actors in a certain amount of episodes a season, but like something like last night's episode, you know, if you had maybe Betty and Kevin and that was it. Like that was truly all you explored. Oh my God, it would have left you like feeling so many different emotions and like you really considered it. But you're right. Like 1 minute, like this guy's getting like gay bashed and then like they're freaking like trying to get a touchdown. And, you know, like so it just doesn't go. Like it doesn't go together. And I don't know. But I don't know. They always do this.
It was just very stark for this episode because there was a lot of like honest crying. Like literally Betty had like 4 breakdown moments. She almost murdered somebody this episode.
Yeah, and that totally gets like I forgot about that. I did.
Like, that's what I mean. Yeah. And then it gets overshadowed by like Britta getting a touchdown, which like good for her, but like why is it in this episode with this one? Like it just doesn't connect to me. And then on top of that, there's like the overlapping storyline of Cheryl trying to be a guidance like a fucking marriage counselor. Then she's being a counselor for Betty, and then she's also being a cheerleader singing "Stupid Love" to like the shittiest like voiceover track of all time. Like what's
as you're saying that, I'm like, are these people on fucking crack? Like what is wrong with them? Like they thought that was gonna be okay. Like they legit thought sitting in their room thinking that's gonna be okay.
We're stressed.
I'm very stressed, guys. Like even yesterday, like I didn't want to watch the episode because I knew like I just felt it. I was like, I'm not gonna like this, and it was even worse than I anticipated, honestly.
And I think it makes me really sad because I do feel like that's like a general consensus, like from the people that have listened to our podcast, and it makes me sad to think that like they had the opportunity to get to a point where like season 5, you know, like 7-year time jump, like you guys could have made it like fucking phenomenal, and it started off so well.
And
like,
everyone says that. Everyone's like, you guys had the chance to rewrite this show, and in 3 episodes, you literally went back to what you had already.
Yeah, this is like, I'm not.
Who
even,
does
like,
that? Who does that?
Anyways, we can't even get through our recap roundups. Let's get to the next one.
MVP. MVP, I'm gonna give it to Reggie Mantle because he's the only one that made me laugh in this episode, and I truly needed a good laugh. And when he came in 100%. And he was like loser, I was like, I love you. Like if you're the best part of this, just like
and also Charles Monson's so cute.
LVP.
My LVP, I know it's obvious, but I said Glenn. Like we don't know for sure if he's the trash bag killer, but he's definitely a trash bag person.
Oh,
yeah. All right.
The best line.
What was your best line?
Best line is the one with Cheryl and Betty. When she says, "When I learned the truth, I was able to grieve for my brother. From my experience, it is better to know the truth and make your peace with it." And I just love that line solely because I love that scene between the two of them, 2 characters that we very rarely get to see together, but somehow have this connection and have this bond, and they are cousins. And for the show, for them to actually write this scene in, I love it. I love real moments like this. Like we need more things like this, you know?
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. Like when you juxtapose it beside her cheerleading 15 minutes later, you're like, what?
Yeah, and for her to give this advice makes sense because she's dealt with this. But for her to give advice on a relationship to Kevin and Fangs, no,
like, did you see
I'm not going to trust your advice.
Like your relationship blew up in your face. So like, maybe don't talk about that. My best line is going to the one that you keep mentioning, which is when Archie's talking to Reggie and he's like, it's not all about winning, Reg. And then Reggie says, keep telling yourself that. And then as he walks away, he goes down the line and he's like, loser. I died. I was like,
I feel like Charles Melton did that. I feel like that wasn't in the script.
Maybe
you know?
It was like, I totally see him doing something like that. It was just
he's so cheeky.
Fun. And it made me feel like, wow, Reggie's a fun character. Like he's that comic book character. He's staying true to like what I would love/hate about him. You know what I mean?
And it's easy to write someone like that when they're not in the episode for like the whole time. True. You can write him like that. I get it, but like Reggie saved the season, maybe. Like maybe.
Like if Tony's on here, like he's like, tap me in, girl. Tap me in. Yeah, I'm coming. All right, let's get to our listener roundups. I'll do the first one. At Cynthia421 says her best moment was Betty beating up the truck drivers. WTF moment, Betty ready to kill the truck driver. MVP, Machen Amick for delivering a heart-wrenching performance. And Britta for scoring that touchdown. And her LVP is the writers for reverting back to the same stories Board of VARCHIE versus Hiram.
I feel like we're gonna get LVP the writers a lot for this one. At Ruthie and Best Moment, Betty talking to Cheryl. We haven't seen them interact and have a heart to heart. And Kevin and his dad talking. It was all deep rounded conversation I loved. WTF Moment, all VARCHIE scene just cringy. See, like we're not the only ones.
Yeah.
Miss BARCHIE. MVP Betty, she had so much on her this episode and she was out for blood. Loved it. And the football team. LVP, almost half the cast, but Glenn, really Glenn, you couldn't call first to say you're gonna go to Betty's house and all of a sudden you are ready to help. Mr. Weatherby for being mad at Jughead for being concerned about his student. Best line, if you don't give up on yourself, you can't lose. And that's the line. Like so like they changed like full hearts
Believe
can't
in
lose.
yourself.
So if you don't give up on yourself, you can't lose. Yeah, okay, guys.
Becca Sarah says this week's episode is better than the last week's. I mean, maybe. The best moments were the Vixens and Cheryl cheerleading routine and Britta's touchdown. WTF moment, Veronica's bet her dad. I don't know. I know she won, but if she lost, it was stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
MVP, Betty for saving the girls. LVP, Reggie for calling the teens losers. And best line when Kevin said, "No, this isn't your fault. You always accepted me. You never judged me," to his dad. I really want to know what you guys thought about that scene. Was I
know. I can't wait to hear what they say tonight on our live chat.
I really want to know. Yeah, you guys got to tell me.
At Postmaster, best moment, Britta's touchdown. WTF moment, too long a list. MVP, Alice, because she's a trooper and I feel so bad for her. Also Britta, because she's one hell of a bulldog. LVP, again, too long a list. That's just what we're going to say next episode. We're going to be like, too long a list. Next. The podcast is going to be like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Best line, Archie's motivational speeches to the Bulldogs, because that's literally all he did this episode.
That's all he did.
All he did was motivational
nothing
speaking.
else.
That's
yeah.
it.
I don't know if this one is an actual LVP. I mean, I think it's just an LVP rant, but at CHONI5 on it says, this was an absolutely disgusting episode. One of the writers said this episode was for the gays, but showed a homophobic hate crime. I hate Archie. This episode feels like I'm watching season 2 or 3 or 4. The show doesn't know how to come up with different material. VARCHIE versus Hiram, like we've done this already.
Yeah.
The entire episode and writers and producers and sound and everything from top to bottom was my LVP.
CHONI5 on it. You literally hit every single point that we made in this podcast.
Yeah, so many
Proving
things.
that the podcast can be a minute long. If we just talk about that.
Yeah, 100%.
I think she's right. I think what she said, and I don't know if the writers did say this one was for the gays. I know last week
It was for the gays.
next week for the other gays. No, but I know last week RIS did say like this is a beautiful episode for Kevin. Like this is gonna like change Kevin.
No.
Take that, and then you tell me what it was.
Yeah. Come talk to me later, RIS.
Mackenzie Burns, best moment, Betty Cooper saving the girls. WTF, VARCHIE asking Cheryl to donate again. MVP, Betty, LVP, Reggie, no more inside man. Best line. Turn on this stupid thing. Archie asking Miss Spell to turn on the microphone. The millennial asking the grandma to work technology. That's true.
And also, like, don't stop telling people what to do, Archie. Why don't you figure out your own life? At Bax Arches says, best moment, Tabitha cheering from the stands with Veronica and Reggie.
She was really lit. Like, when they cut her, she was like, yeah! I was like, whoa, like, she really cares about the
But it's also, like,
Bulldogs.
funny that that's, like, her best moment of the entire
Yeah.
episode is that. WTF moment when Betty almost shot that man, but there was this one shot of Betty walking down the stairs was chilling, so that cinematic storyline, stairwell shot. MVP Betty, I think. LVP Glenn, I'm worried about Toffee now. I'm not sure who Toffee is.
The dog.
Oh, why?
Because maybe he'll kill the dog.
Like trying to put the connections together. I'm like, I don't know.
At Sierra and Johnston, best moment, Britta's touchdown, but also Kevin's moment with his dad. WTF moment, Cheryl deciding she's a marriage therapist. MVP, Betty and Lily Reinhart. Her acting was phenomenal, as always.
Yeah,
LVP,
as always.
Glenn, and Archie. Thank you guys for those roundups. We freaking love them.
We love them. We love you all. Thank you so much every week. I would like to take this time to thank our patrons of the episode, however, our Rewinder squad, White and Nicole, our Lit Rewinders, Tina Ann, Soleil, and Kate, and our Mommy Rewinders, Becca, Sarah, Tamala, and Grace. Thank
you guys. And if you would like to join our Patreon family, check us out at patreon.com/recap_rewind. If you join, you're going to get access to all things, secret content, cool things, party time. By the way, we are planning a bunch of new content for the hiatus that is happening after next week's episode. So if you want more content from us, subscribe, tune in, keep in contact, because we're going to be pumping out a bunch of ish for you guys. And
and make so check that out, and also make sure you guys are checking us on all of our socials: Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. You can also check us out on all Google Podcasts, Spotify, iTunes. Like, subscribe, follow, review, and make sure you guys are commenting and rating for us. It really
yes,
does help.
iTunes, guys, iTunes rating.
If every single one of you all who are listening on our YouTube channel right now or our podcast and get to the end like this,
iTunes,
just send us a little comment, send us a little rating. It really helps us. And also keeps you all engaged with us at Recap Rewind, because we love to respond to your comments and all that stuff. So we're out here working for y'all.
Also, shout out to the new people because we've gotten a bunch of new subscribers, a bunch of new followers in the last couple of days. So shout out to you guys if you guys just joined our fam.
Welcome,
and
thanks for listening.
Bye.